I guess my passion for filmmaking just kind of, I've had that ever since, since I was, a teenager. And I just, really, I don't entirely know where it comes from. I guess it's almost like a primal part of me. It's I'll be honest, there's been a few times where I've thought, I've been working on a project and I've told myself, I'm like, this is it. I'm never gonna do this again. But the funny thing is you can ask my wife. Anytime I say that out loud, she goes, no, by next week you'll have a whole other project going. And that's kind of how it has been. There's so much talent in this area. There's so much talent in the region. And I guess when I started doing this, I wanted to, originally I wanted to run off to LA. Now, like I said, I wanted to be that next big thing, but it got to a point where I realized everybody wants to run off to LA. Everybody who has this drive and this desire to tell stories and to do visually artistic endeavors and whatnot, they all say, I want to run out to LA. So the problem is when you go out there, you become, small fish in big pond. You don't have to go to LA to make a movie. You don't have to go to LA to make something that has merit, something that you can be proud of.
PJ took a step into his favorite genre when making Hallow's Eve, Slaughter on 2nd Street.
And I'm a huge horror fan. Like, that's kind of where my love lies. We ended up making Hallow's Eve the summer of 2008, over 2 months. It was the dead of summer. There was no air conditioning in this warehouse that we were shooting in. But it was a really cool location.
Hey there, y'all. Buck Masters, a proud owner and operator of Slaughter on 2nd Street.
I'll be honest, I had one panic attack while we were making it. Because I was thinking, oh man, one day we got behind. And I started freaking out because I'm like somebody said, how much more do we have left to do? So I start flipping through the script and I'm like, oh man. I mean, there's no way we're getting out of here anytime soon. We're already 2 hours over. So I went outside and I was, I just it was raining, it was like misting, and I just stared up at the sky and I was thinking, man, this is it. This movie's already over with before it's begun, and it's my fault. So everybody else kind of came outside and they start talking about how awesome it is that they're getting to work on a movie, how that, it's not every day that you get an opportunity or a chance to work on a film in Owensboro. And they're talking about how excited they are and they're acting really excited and nobody's upset. And that's when I kind of realized that, I wasn't the only one that was truly passionate about this film. Everybody was. Everybody had something at stake in this film. They wanted it to be good.
Needing a challenge, PJ wrote and directed A Mind Beside Itself.
What I decided is I'm not just gore, I'm not just splatter. I have the ability to do something with substance. So that's when I decided that I was gonna do not only a whole different genre, but I was gonna up the ante and I was gonna challenge myself. And I was gonna make a thinker. And there was a film idea, a concept that I'd been sitting on for like 5 years.
You, of course.
I bet you say that to all the girls you dream about.
No, with you, I mean it.
The other thing I went into the project with was when I did Hallow's Eve, I did it. Cinematographer, director, writer, I helped with lighting, I helped with the boom mic. So we donned a lot of hats. The one thing I didn't want to do when I went into my next project was I didn't want to do 100 different jobs. I wanted to be director. So anyway, so I made A Mind Beside Itself in one weekend. So it was over the course of 3 days, and it was in July of 2010.
As a way to share what he loved with others, PJ found himself creating Owensboro's first film festival. An outgrowth of that was a 6-week series of screenings for regional films. Unscripted was held in the Davis County Public Library and offered audiences a live interactive audio commentary with the filmmakers.
I'm huge on special features. I love audio commentaries. So I was like, rather than sitting at home in your living room and listening to an audio commentary, what if you could be sitting right there next to the filmmaker, and they're talking about their film as it's happening, live right in front of you. And if you don't like what they're saying, you can just interrupt them and ask them to change topic. It's almost like it takes the filmmaker back to being on set. And now they're pointing things out. Notice this in the background, and you know, this is how we were able to pull this particular part of the film off. And it's actually become the most popular part of the film series, is this live audio commentary. Maybe there is something to this, not just making films, because being a filmmaker, I understand the struggles and the hardships when it comes to trying to get your work out there, because it is difficult, especially when you're in middle America and there's really not a whole lot of venues to screen your work. And I guess it kind of comes down to, somebody's got to open those venues. And I just happen to be one of those guys, I guess. So that's kind of how I got into doing this. So I guess my passion for films and making films has also turned into helping other filmmakers get their projects appreciated and enjoyed by the public. I've gone from being the filmmaker to the events guy to now the producer, and ultimately I guess my goal is just to continue working with other filmmakers, networking, growing the area, creating more awareness for what we're doing and what other filmmakers are doing, what I'm doing, and continue to, who knows, Owensboro could be the next Sundance.